Okay, we are now recording. Thanks for coming out, everybody. This is Crypto CJ and Crypto CJ's Trading Odyssey. And instead of the trade of the day, I'm with some trading friends. I've got Connie from Kansas, Ramil from Florida, Federico from my home state of Arizona, Ricky from Florida also, and we're expecting one or two more to drop in sooner or later. So I just want to keep this kind of short, maybe 30 to 40 minutes at the most, and just talk about what everybody's doing. We have different skill levels here, and I'm really excited because we have different people with different strategies. So you'll hear some overlap, and hopefully there'll be some value for anybody watching this. All right. Connie, I want to start with you. I'm going to be like a teacher picking on kids in the class. So you know why I'm doing it? Because when I attend one of Connie's Zooms, this is how she handles it. It tends to move reasonably smoothly. So Connie, you've been doing more long-term trades. I mean, you started out with us doing the day trading, 0.5, 1%, but I know you've branched out, and I and some others have followed you. So talk a little bit about your longer term strategy.
Hold on, David Dickinson's calling through. Just hold on just a second.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah.
All right, let's let Connie handle that and move on over to Ramil. I'm going to pick on you a little bit. You indicated you had started day trading, or the day trading program with Jeremy Barnett. Most of us have been through that as well. What have you done with that training so far? Have you made some trades, and if so, how have they gone?
Oh, right now only still learning. I'm not make any trade right now. I'm still learning, and for that reason I'm here. I want to hear everybody and learn more about the people. Yeah.
Have you gone through the iCoin Pro training as well?
Yeah, I started maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So you're just getting into that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We'll come back to you in a couple minutes.
Okay.
I want to talk to Federico. He and I met yesterday. We both live in the Phoenix area. And you were talking about a coin called JST, which has an affiliation with Tron, and you were interested in that and doing some trading. What kind of outlook do you see for that coin, and why does it interest you?
Hey, CJ, thanks for doing this. It's good that we all get together to encourage one another and to share what we're doing. So JST, when you do the crypto news, it has an attachment to Tron, which Tron is a very well-known crypto, like a lot of others. But I'm not an expert. I wouldn't call myself an expert. I just know that there's a lot of news around JST. So the coin was just launched maybe a half a month ago, and it's been on the exchange on Binance. So I've been able to load up on it in its early stages, and it's had its dips and ups and downs. But because I know the news and what the news is saying about it, and the project is a very big project, I can see the price coming, and I'm sitting right now in profit, but I still have more profit to take. I'm still learning, but that's just one trade alone that I'm working on. That's kind of like more of a long-term trade. Other than that, I have been working on all of the 1, 2, 3 dips, and I've been doing that today in and out of EVX and XTZ.
All right. Yeah, I got into XTZ myself yesterday. Then it dipped on me when Bitcoin dropped about 3 or 4% today. So as I've talked about in my trade of the day videos, when that happens, the altcoins tend to take a hit. So today on Tuesday, the 25th of August, most of our positions have probably dipped, 5 or 10%, even though the market has been rising a little bit. I personally made a move to stop the fall of Bitcoin by purchasing Bitcoin down. So that's a leverage trade. We'll talk about that a little later. So
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Federico. Ricky, are you out there?
He's on mute.
Ricky, unmute yourself. Maybe I can do it.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
That's all right, Ricky. You and I spoke a few days ago, and oh, there he is. Look at that cool dude.
Something
So you and I spoke a few days ago, and you were pondering a different strategy or trying something new. I don't know if you're ready to talk about that yet, but I'm going to put you on the spot and see if you've gotten something to share about the new approach you have.
well, basically, I've been trading, for about a year now. And the thing that is just getting stuck in trades, it's kind of like it sucks because, it ties up all your money. And, the name of the game is basically, to make, profits every single day, every single time you trade. So I'm not quite ready to talk about the strategy because it's still quite new. So I haven't perfected it, but basically found a way of, using the Buddy Coin crawler and other indicators to kind of, in our trading zones, that we talked about to like kind of not get stuck in trades and things of that nature. But pretty much the trading zones and basically just, doing those dip trades. I mean, like, especially if you're new, Remel, if you're new, really focus on those dip trades. Once you kind of master that, then kind of, you can go over to like the MACD movers and things like that. But those 1, 2, 3 dips are really for us. We notice those 1, 2 crossover dips. Focus on those. So
yeah, I couldn't agree more. Today was Dip City. With Bitcoin dropping, it really put practically all the coins in a dip sequence. So it was a good day to buy dips. Unfortunately for me, I had most of my money allocated towards the dips from the last drop. So I only made 1 or 2 trades today, but we'll see.
And then another thing to keep in mind is to be patient with the ladder buying as the dips happen, because for me, when I would see the 1, 2, and the 3 dip, and I'm thinking money, I'll buy, but not paying attention to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's dropping crazy at the time. So like CJ says, all the altcoins begin to drop as Bitcoin's dropping. So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, this is perfect. And then there's a 4th dip. Then there's a 5th and 6th and 7th. And some of these coins that I've been into, they go like, I just had to stop buying. I'm like, okay, let me just stop. And just be careful. Always look at Bitcoin. That's one thing I'm learning. I need to look at Bitcoin more often, my trades.
Yeah, that's a great point, Federico. The number one rule of investing, Warren Buffett says, is don't lose money. I think the number one rule of crypto trading is check Bitcoin first, because if it's dumping, it doesn't really matter, what the other coins are doing. There's 1 or 2 that seem to go either indifferent or adverse to Bitcoin, but I haven't found a consistent coin that does that. But there's always seems to be a couple outliers. I think Atom didn't drop that much today, but most of the other coins did. That was from this morning. I've actually been away from the market most of the day, but I think Atom did pretty well. At least only lost a little bit or held most of its gains. Do you know about that, Ricky?
Yeah, Atom's a good coin today.
Good.
Atom, that YFI coin. I've been trading, and Polkadot. That's been my top 3 for today.
Is Dot in? I forgot. Is Dot in Binance yet, or are you in a different exchange for that?
No, the Dot's in Binance.
All right.
Yeah, I'm only using Binance forever.
Okay. I tried to catch that before the Binance listing, and I'm looking at some of these, other tiny little exchanges trying to find it, and by the time it hit Binance, it just shot up, and I was too late. But.
And it's still going up. So those are my top 3 for today.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, who else? Did we lose David? Oh, bummer. All right, well, let's get back.
He's trying to get in. I gave him the codes and the passcodes, so.
Okay.
Just gave him all the numbers. Anyway, a little bit about, I was involved with that downdraft in February. And at that time, I had placed about 20 some coins on a test, given the fact that I had measured what their activity was to their high activity and what was the probability for them to retrace and gain that momentum. And a lot of them had like 1,200, 1,400 potential. So I went ahead and bought a whole bunch of different coins to figure out what that might look like just as a test case. Well, the downdraft of February then turned into March's downdraft. And
Mhm.
so that got pretty ugly. So I have waited it out. I decided not to sell and just be patient. And it actually does pay off. I only have 2 coins left, which is ETC and ONT left from February. I don't have anything else left until August 5th. And so what I did though is I looked at the coins that I had and I said, okay, I've got a wallet. Why don't I transfer some of those coins into my wallet and create some long-term hold strategies? So I presently have 11 coins in my wallet. And so I've watched them. I sold a little bit of my Atom off and got almost 108% this week.
Nice.
So it was nice because that was just a 22-day hold on that particular trade. But you know, I'm really into coins that have a lot of liquidity. Atom, Tezos, Ethereum. You know, DeFi has been really good to us. And so it's pretty exciting to see what's going on in that environment. So I've kept the coins that I think is going to have the most amount of bang for the buck. And then in talking to Ricky today, one of the things we talked about is what's a good point of taking about 50% of your balance. And then, you know, once that money has doubled, then go ahead, take out your capital and get that profit and then go ahead and reinvest it. So that's another strategy I need to do because I'm way up in Link and Ethereum, you know, Tezos. So since I have a lot of that in there, you know, I need to be able to strategize that as well and really turn over my dollars. The other thing I've done is I've gone into a strategy where I've looked
Actually, I want to stop you there because I want to explore this a little more. This is a good problem to have. When you make a good trade, a good long-term trade, and it doubles or triples, you know, how do you process that? Do you keep holding, or do you, as Connie suggested, take profit out, maybe get your capital, your principal out? So I'm interested in going through the panel. Connie's already commented about it. I've got a similar situation in Atom where it's tripled in a long-term play, but it's a small amount of money, so I'm just letting it ride. Ricky, do you have anything like that, or?
Yeah, a couple of my trades, you know, doubled in profits. And like I was saying, I was talking to Connie, like taking kind of half of that. And my whole strategy is, you know, basically taking those profits and parking it into Bitcoin because I want to get as much Bitcoin as possible. You know what I mean? So, because I definitely believe that, you know, by the end of, you know, this year, low end 20K, the high end 100K, right? So I'm just trying to just get as much Bitcoin as possible. So that's my kind of strategy that I'm gonna do is just, you know, take half of those profits and then, you know, dump it into Bitcoin. And then hopefully if it, you know, let's say Atom, if it doubles again, just keep on taking half of that and throwing it in Bitcoin. So that's what I'm thinking about doing.
I've heard that as a strategy. Maybe it was from Connie, maybe it was from you, but it was, you know, if Bitcoin's just going sideways, you know, trade the altcoins and then take those profits and buy more Bitcoin because that's really the big daddy that's gonna, you know, it's gonna shoot up and be the biggest store of value.
Absolutely.
All right, Connie, I interrupted you. What you were gonna make another point?
Another strategy I started working on was to do coins because I wanted to have a little bit better return than a 1 or 2%. And so I was looking at holding coins up to a week. And so my strategy was getting into several trades and knowing that within that week period, I would be able to gain profits. And some of my examples was that in the last 2 weeks, I've gone up as high as 29% in like 3 or 4 days because the market has been so brisk and lovely to work with. So, you know, looking at that, then if those coins had not settled out in the week, I still held on to them. An example of MFT went ballistic today. Took me out for a 2-week trade. Yeah, I mean, here it is. It went up, what, 35%? When everything else is going crazy.
I've traded that coin before, and it you know, went sideways for 2 weeks and bumped up to 1%, and I dumped it.
It's still a good project.
Yeah,
So
I remember that.
as long as you understand the fundamentals, don't give up on it. I think that's my biggest takeaway is I no longer am selling out. I'm holding it. I'm letting it return to and letting it do its thing.
Hey Connie, you know what? That's exactly how I feel because like in the iCoin Pro, I was following the trending exactly, and I got into a coin where the last time Bitcoin dropped in this like I think 2 weeks ago or something. Anyways, the coin I was in just started going down, and I ladder bought so many times. Anyways, it was in a negative, and what I did was I sold it because I didn't want to lose anymore. That's what the iCoin Pro team and the chat forum, that's what they were encouraging to do. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just take a loss. Well, that was probably the only loss I've ever taken, like literally, like in the negative, and I just walked away with less. Well, right now I'm in a similar situation with JST. Whenever it goes to where I need to go, I'm going to be in some massive gains, but unfortunately, it's not there right now. And I've been in it for like 5 days, but I'd rather be in it for 5 days and know that it's going to get back to where I need it to be and take my gains than to lose out. You know what I mean?
So the only question I have is if you have a brand new coin that had pumped, and it had pumped like it was going to the moon, right?
Right.
And that gets a little dicey when you're trying to understand the relativity of where the market really is trading at and the amount of time that you think it's going to regain to get there. Now, I'm looking at that history, and there was a point where it looks like about 42.34, which was the low trade on that coin. We could probably have bought it and then traded off some profits, you know, for some of your other, but I don't know. First of all, iCoin Pro has always taught never do it more than 4 times.
Right.
Right? I mean, don't
Right.
chase a coin more than the first time you match it, the second time you double the match, the third time it's like a triple, but never ever go beyond where you are then taking the cash that you could be trading on profitable coins. It just
Right.
doesn't make any sense. Because that's
Yes.
what panic buying is what it is. That's FOMO.
It's panic
Mhm.
buying. It is. That's what it was. It was definitely that.
Mm-hmm. And that the thing that they teach you, and all traders who are professional, they do not chase the coin. It's a strategy. You set your parameters, you know where you're going. You know, I'm getting a lead, and then I go ahead and I put it in where I want to buy it. I quit chasing them. I mean, if I have learned anything is having the patience, and I will tell you 9 times out of 10, I will get the deal, and I will not have paid as much for the coin.
Nice.
You know, so
Connie is preaching some patience, and it's so hard. You know, where I have difficulty with patience is where I've got a set time in my day where I want to trade. I want to spend some money. I want to trade. I want to do it now because I got stuff to do later. And
yeah,
the
right.
market doesn't cooperate. It's so rude. So that's where it's good probably just to set a low order, or at
You
least,
know
you
what?
know, a reasonable order, and then walk away. And if it fails, it fine. If not, then so be it. So
Well, it's called FOMO again because you're trying to make it work within your schedule, and the market doesn't do that. You know,
yeah.
so kind of going into that being impatient environment. So if you come in and the order where you want it, and then come back and you got your alerts set for it, then you can go ahead and execute your sell order. Because at that time, you know what you want to pay for it. You can go ahead and do your Fibonacci, right? Know what you want for your profits, and then go for it.
There
So,
it is. There it is. Okay, Connie, I could tell that my next level is to understand the Fibonacci because I've already been through all of the iCoin Pro and I'm not mastered it yet. I got a lot of room to grow, obviously, but I'd like to understand how that works. Is there like a simple how-to on YouTube? There has to be, right? How to use the Fibonacci
well, there's several
Binance?
YouTubes, but I think CJ, in his wonderful videos, oh my gosh, he just gives so darn many nuggets that you can kind of piece it a little bit together.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
Well,
With
no, I just didn't know if there was any
But
more to that because these things, they have so many intricate pieces to it, and I'm not sure. I want to make sure that I understand it all. I didn't know if there was like an actual instruction manual, like when you're putting together like some kind of a furniture. You know what I mean? That has all the details.
well, you know, the thing that you learn is that the golden ratio is 61.8. In other words, if
Okay.
you have 1 to 100, the mean isn't 50 because nothing hardly ever falls into a 50-50 ratio, right?
Right.
It's
Okay,
usually
let me interrupt here because I've got an idea. Since we have Ramil on and he's fairly new, I was going to go through the iCoin Buddy Coin Crawler,
Yes.
use an example, and then when I'll bring up my chart and it'll have some Fibonacci retracement zones. I'll explain them in general. To go into detail would be, I spent, weeks, probably over a month trying to learn it. So let's do that now, and then we can chime in.
Yeah, I appreciate that, CJ. And everybody, Ramil is a good friend of mine. He's a Spanish speaker as well. So there's a lot of people in the Spanish communities that would, if they just had this knowledge, it would catch wildfire, like wildfire. And I believe that Ramil is going to be like a crypto evangelist for the Spanish community once he gets his game up.
I will.
All right. Let's go to. All right. Buddy Coin Crawler. Here we go. This is an iCoin Pro tool. I've mentioned it before in my trade of the day videos. This is my go-to every morning. So I'm going to rule a couple of these out. But here's a coin that's been hot lately, OMG Network. So I'm going to click on this.
Boy, it's been falling like a bomb.
Yeah. This is, see this 8.15%? This is the average low for the last 24 hours to the SMA line. I'll show you the SMA line on the chart. So
the average low.
Sold.
Yeah.
It was so overbought that the market's still correcting.
All right. I charted this before this meeting, as you can see by the time. All right. These are Fibonacci retracement indicators. The hardest part of this strategy is choosing the range, but OMG happens to be cooperating right now. So I started my range here on August 9th, and this is, it shot up to this level here. This is the highest closing candle on the 4-hour chart, so I set that as my high. And then
now, CJ, was August 9th the very beginning of that coin, like its initial birth, or was that just a random?
No, you see how it's just flatlining here?
Yeah, you just shows the
Yeah.
the beginning of it where it started to stop.
So that doesn't really help me. I'm looking for when it starts to actually move up. I could have probably started here or here, but I chose this because it was starting to come up. And
okay, that's all I needed to know.
For a 4 to 6 week range generally. Coin doesn't always, the chart doesn't always cooperate, but
sure.
But that's my range from August 9th to, this is the high on August 21st a few days ago, and then it starts to come down. So I'm not going to go through everything that I did to come up with these numbers, but the blue zone, this buy zone, the sweet spot, is generally halfway between the low point and the high point. And then the sell zone is generally halfway between the blue zone and the high point. So when I go to my 5-minute chart to evaluate this for an entry point, I see here it was in the blue zone. This would have been a nice place to get in, but I'd probably still get in anywhere here. I saw a trend of, I'm running out of time. So,
CJ, anytime you need, my room doesn't have any time limit on it at all.
Yeah, well,
you're more than welcome to use it.
Keep that in mind for next time. Good to know. But yeah, any entry point here would be fine. This one would have been great, but right now it's in a squeeze on the 5-minute chart. But since it's just above the blue zone, I would get in here, and ride it probably up to here for 20%. It would probably take, could take a week, 10 days. Maybe I'd make my exit here around the 5, 6, 7, 8 range. Those are always good exit points too, especially if you're a day trader and you want to get out in 1 to 3 days. So that's how I would evaluate this trade with the Buddy Coin Crawler and sort of a glossing over of the Fibonacci retracements. Anybody have anything to add on the OMG?
On the OMG in this particular chart, exactly as it's showing, whenever I look at the SMA line, the red line between the Bollinger Bands, you see how it's kind of curving downward? Is that also an indicator that this is headed downward, and just like the RSI in the middle, and MACD is going sideways, but it looks like it all eventually is wanting to lean downward?
Yeah, when I'm actually entering a trade, I'm on the 5-minute chart and I'm looking at that. Like right now, we just got a red candle, RSI pointing down, MACD's not crossing. So, I might wait on this for a while, or if I wanted to catch it on a real low dip, I might, use this value here and do Connie's approach of trying to get in at a lower point.
But that same Fibonacci strategy that you just showed right now on a particular coin that's uptrending would probably be like solid money, like something you'd confidently just jump into, like, yes, right?
If this were, Atom or coin with a lot of history, then I'd feel better about it. OMG, I had a bad experience with this a few months ago, so maybe it's a little personal, but yeah, this one went sideways forever on me in April and May. So so personally, I might hesitate, but others might feel more confident in getting in right now.
So CJ, the Fibonacci is the blue square and or the blue rectangle and the red rectangle.
Right. The blue is the buy zone, and this
Well, what I learned yesterday, CJ, he pulled the actual Fibonacci, because that's not the Fibonacci. That's the aftermath of him using the Fibonacci. That's the Fibonacci.
Yeah.
All those indicators, those colors, the dots, he put them on there based upon this thing.
Right.
It's the knowing how to use this thing that I'm trying to do. Like,
yeah.
But I am understanding it, because you said that the middle is not where they often happen, but between the middle and the very top is where it is, and there's that range.
Right. And like I said, to teach all the details of this is beyond the scope of what we're doing today. But
yeah.
But I did want to show, and Connie was mentioning the magic area of the 618. Is that right?
Right. Well, so what you're saying, from the 618 to the 50, you're drawing that as your buy zone.
Correct.
Okay. And so your sell zone is up here at what level on that Fibonacci? Are you at 7/8?
Let's look at that again. Let's look at that one.
Look at the number again on the Fibonacci. Is that on 7/8 on your sell?
618 again. 618 to 50.
Okay. Now what you're doing is that you took that Fibonacci down to your buy order.
Correct.
Right?
I took it down to the low, the 4-hour low. You're gonna make me teach this, aren't you? It's all right.
No, but the other thing is, what you on the buy, you took it on going up as ascending. Now you're taking descending down to the low.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And you can only do this on a chart that that has an up and a down like this. If it's just going up, if I'm looking at this, on August 21st, I don't bother with the red part because it's not going down yet. I don't have that information. So, so on a chart up to that date, it would just be the blue. And then now that a few days later that it's gone down, I've got this information.
Well, and you can see that in your MACD too.
Yeah. Right. And then,
well, the thing about OMG itself is that it got pumped because of the news. And they say sell on the news, right? And I mean, it took that big hike in price action, and it was overinflated so quickly that it just couldn't hold, and there was no support for it. So I'd still question it.
Yeah, and to be candid, practically all the coins look like this today. Almost all of them fell in the blue zone from the ones I had charted, and they're all starting to creep up now. So probably the next day or two, they should hopefully make a nice recovery.
So do you want to buy in the blue zone or above the blue zone?
In the blue zone, ideally. Ideally, if you haven't not in the coin yet, it drops down to here, the last line of defense. That's what we call these lines. These are the 786 and the 886. That means they've gone almost all the way down to the prior low. So
last lines of defense.
Yep.
The thing about Fibonacci, you want to do what the MACD's telling you to do, because you want to make sure that MACD's crossed and that you've got at least one candle into the Fibonacci to show that they actually have a commitment to the movement of that coin going up.
Yeah, and on the 5-minute chart, I like to see several candles moving in my direction before I get in. If I'm contemplating a day trade, a longer term trade, I would want that on the hour, the 4-hour, or even the day. We're reaching the end of our 40 minutes. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end the recording, and then but we can still stay on and chat for a while.